Welcome to the Leather Lounge, a weekly show recorded live every Tuesday where we explore the latest innovations in the Bitcoin ecosystem. From DeFi and dApps to digital art, we bring you in-depth conversations with developers, artists, and community leaders who are shaping the future. Whether you're here to learn about cutting-edge projects or to deepen your understanding of blockchain basics and decentralization, Leather is your go-to source for all things Bitcoin. Content shared on this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It does not constitute financial, investment, or legal advice. The views and opinions expressed are those of the host and guests and do not reflect the official policy or position of any other agency, organization, or company. We encourage you to conduct your own research and consult with a qualified professional before making any financial decisions. Well, hello and welcome back to the Leather Lounge, where each week we bring you conversations with the most prominent thought leaders, founders, builders, artists, and innovators in the Bitcoin ecosystem. I'm your host, Sean Longstreet, and today we are getting deorganized. We're joined by the creators behind Deorganized Media, a fast-growing platform empowering creators to launch, host, and monetize live content within the Bitcoin and Stacks ecosystems. Deorganized has carved out a unique space at the intersection of creator tooling, Web3 engagement, and Bitcoin native content. And today's episode also features our very first live game of Name That Tune, and I'll be giving away 5,000 sats to each winner. I've dusted off my guitar and I've prepared 5 melodies to play for you. To qualify for the giveaway, all you have to do is make sure you've shared this space, have a .btc in your X handle that corresponds with your Stacks wallet, and be the first to correctly answer the tune in the live chat. The winners will receive their sats as part of a live demonstration of BoostX, a tool that allows anyone to send Bitcoin and SIP10 tokens live on X. It's a powerful extension that gives artists and educators and streamers the ability to engage audiences in real time, rewarding participation and building on-chain communities, as we are going to be demonstrating today live on the show. So joining us today are the legends at the heart of every deorganized space, including Peace Love Music, Attract Funding, GPSC, Jackman Switch, Mel Bell, Crypto Dude, the creator of BoostX himself. If you enjoy these conversations, which I hope you do, please subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or YouTube. Leave us a review, smash that like button. It's the easiest way that you can support what we're building here and to help us find more listeners and help them discover the people and projects shaping the future of Bitcoin. So let's go. Let's get into it. This is the Deorganized Takeover. So I'm going to throw it over to the one and only Peace Love Music. Thank you for joining us, brother.
Thank you, sir. Sean, I love what you guys do here. Obviously, Leather Lounge is OG in the space, in the ecosystem. Leather is a tremendous project. The my go-to Stacks and Bitcoin wallet, actually, and for ordinals and all that cool stuff. And thank you so much for having us here today and recognizing us. And we consider you guys a huge partner in our ecosystem. You know, we're all here to push things forward together. We're supporting Bitcoin and Stacks via, Stacks is a way to support growth on Bitcoin, and that's what we're all about. So thank you so much for having us, and we're super happy to be here and all of our great talent around us here, which really is why it works, because it's not a one-man show, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Well, that ties into the Deorganized, name, and I do want to get into the origin story. But first, let's just go around the room real quick because we have some familiar faces. So I'm gonna call it in clockwise motion as I see it. So let's go to Mel, formerly known, the artist, the host, formerly known as Good Kitty.
Hey, how you doing? Thanks very much for having us here today. I'm looking forward to it. Can you hear me all right? Because Peace's mic sounded pretty soft.
I hear you. It's good.
Sounds really soft. Yeah. So hi. What do I do? Introduce myself. The artist formerly known as Kitty. Meow.
Pretty
I
simple.
am the host of Bitcoin and Beyond. We are on X and YouTube every Thursday at 12 p.m. ET. And I'm very privileged to be part of the morning show with Peace and Blockface and GP. So yeah, we have a lot of fun.
Good. Well, I want to get into it and hear about your recent interview with our GM, our general manager, Mark. So yeah, we'll circle back to you in a minute. So let's go to Jack
Hey,
with
thanks
a
for
fresh
having
look today.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I had to shave a little bit. I'm Jack Benswitch. I'm a writer in the Stacks ecosystem. I am a podcaster. I'm a frequent guest on Deorganized Media. I'm a Hermetica representative, and I am the co-creator of the Rue community here on Stacks. So yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with all my friends and legends, and really been looking forward to coming to the Leather Lounge again. This is a great show.
Thank you. Crypto Dude, we'll throw it to you.
Hey everybody, I'm Crypto Dude, the creator of BoostX and the co-creator of Deruptars, and those are an OG NFT collection on Stacks. Also, creator of Crypto Cash and Derupt. Kind of got a few different projects going, but everybody kind of knows me for BoostX at the moment, and excited to be here.
Awesome. Yep. My gosh, we're gonna need 3 hours to talk to be able to really dive into what everyone has done here, but we'll try to go fast. Let's throw it to Blockface and then the freshly formed GPSC. So Blockface, give us your intro.
Hello, my name is Michael Jagdeo. I am broadcasting from North America. You might know it as Canada. I'm a student at H1B University doing a DEI co-op placement with Deorganized Media on the morning show. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. GP, take it away.
What's up, guys? Hope everybody's having a very, very blessed day. I am the Chief Vibe Officer.
I can't hear
of the Stacks
GP. Can you guys?
ecosystem. Can you hear me?
It's quiet.
I can't hear you.
We've
at
been
all.
having, this is our
Barely.
second go. We've been having some audio issues. So yeah, get close to that mic and we'll see if we can get through it.
Or turn up
It's
your
a
mic
little
volume.
better. A little better here.
A little better.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's your volume.
Yeah, let me try to like talk a little bit louder. Maybe you guys can hear me, but I am the Chief Vibe Officer of the Stacks ecosystem. I am an NFT artist. They call me GP. It stands for Gigapepe, and I am the co-host of the Let's Go Morning Show, along with the host of the Deorganized Nightly segment. Yeah, I love people, and I love getting to people to know people. So I'm a communicator and a conversation facilitator.
Nice. Very important role in this ecosystem. Well, let's paint the picture so everyone understands the origin story of Deorganized. How did it get here? Peace, love. Let me throw that one to you.
Sure. So we started out of the D Grants project. D Grants cohort 2 was really, so I'd been in Stacks and involved in Stacks, accumulating Stacks for about a year. Started in like late Q1 2023. Had my Hero wallet, which eventually became the Leather wallet. So before it was rebranded Leather, I was on Stacks. But I wasn't super integrated into the ecosystem. Actually, I found Jack was one of the first people I found in the ecosystem through looking for information on Stacks on X, because he wrote all those amazing articles. He has a huge collection of articles on Seigel. And then he's been doing tremendous article writing the last several months on X too. Tremendous value to our ecosystem. But so Jack had got me into ordinals in the Node Rocks project, and that was my first experience with a decentralized community, or trying to build a decentralized community. And that kind of slowed down a little bit with the halving, and I started paying attention to. I was exposed to Hero Gamer, who is present in so many people's Stacks onboarding story, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Huge shout out to Hero Gamer, because none of this would have happened without Jack or Hero to begin with. And so I had seen a little bit of cohort 1, but I didn't quite understand what was going on there. And I started seeing the spaces for cohort 2, which I thought was a tremendous opportunity to. I'm like, oh, these are people applying for grants. They're building projects on Stacks. It's a way for me to get to know these people. Who's people that was a steward. She was hosting spaces for the art track and the NFT track. And I started seeing all of these spaces. So I started participating. And then Hero was encouraging everyone to come up and talk. So I was starting to come up, and I had been writing articles for Node Rocks and actually a project called Bitscape that's kind of a layer 1, layer 2 type of thing that's still being developed, and maybe it will be and maybe it won't be. But some of the Node Rocks guys were starting a project called Bitscape, and I was writing articles for them and just kind of helping them with their documentation and stuff, wording and stuff like that. So I started kind of putting myself out there to just kind of talk with some of these builders and advise on messaging and kind of help with that kind of thing. And I was also helping to promote applicants to the D Grants Cohort 2 project. And I'm spending a lot of time trying to encourage people. You guys, whatever it is, if you got an idea, just apply, just submit an application, and it can just help you formulate your idea. And I was like, well, you know what? I really probably should at least go through the application process to see what I'm encouraging people to do. So I did that, and I basically just was like, well, what would I do here? I'm not a builder. I don't have the technical skill to do coding or anything like that. Well, but I can help these guys. You know, I'd started being more present in the spaces, helping co-hosts and stuff like that. So I was like, I'll offer to do a series of spaces and write articles for all of these grant projects. And I started doing that. I asked for no money, by the way. So I submitted a grant request, but I asked for nothing but support from the group, which everybody loved. And I got a tremendous amount of support for the project that way. And I just started having people on from the ecosystem, people that were building, focusing on that. Jack had started running his Ahead of the Curve show again on Bitcoin Live, and he asked me to co-host a couple times, and I felt like I was pretty good at it. I felt very comfortable. And I got to know Nick from Bitcoin Live, and I was like, well, why don't I start doing a bi-weekly live stream covering these guys? I started doing that, and I wanted to get Zero Authority DAO on there. And the time we were running our regular show didn't work for Zero. So and the times that he was available didn't work for Nick at Bitcoin Live. So he basically just said, here, you can do this. He made me an admin. He's like, whenever I'm not using the platform, you can use it. So then I was like, well, I have this platform, and Nick's in the Netherlands. So he's, his time, and he's at work during the day. So I had all day I could use the platform. So I started doing a daily, just kind of like saying hello, good morning, sharing out my vibes and everything. And that was around August. I started doing a daily morning show. And here we are, like several hundred daily episodes. Now we have the night show, we have Kitty's show. Michael did a series on AI that we might be opening back up. We have Crypto Landy. We started doing the Game Master segment, which is actually segues it into daily Find to Earn episodes. Now we get the meme coins all on there and everything. So it's really, really, I mean, we've had so many awesome guests from our ecosystem, all of the big people. We've got some great sponsorships now, great marketing partners, and we're just super excited to be, for our platform to be seemingly resonating with people. People are tuning in. Our viewership is growing. We've gone from like 50 to 60 people tuning in daily to several hundred to sometimes 1,000, a couple thousand live show viewers every day. The night show's killing it. I think GP had like 1,700 people tune in last night. We've had some special episodes, like we did a election coverage that was like 12,000 people tuned in. We had like 3,500 people tune in when we did the JFK docs release. That was a little underwhelming, but it was a big event when it was happening. So yeah, I guess that's the story.
Okay, good. Thanks for that backstory. Michael, I want to throw it to you to learn about your origin story and how you got connected with this motley crew.
Oh, wow. So hello, my name is Michael Jagdeo, and actually not going to H1B University. I'm a headhunter launching startups with a decentralized group known as the Syndicate. We were we created a space online called the Syndicate where we would fumble our way through the dark with AI, starting with ChatGPT. Now today is with Cursor and Lovable and Bolt and V0 and Replit. But we created a space where we could be intellectually vulnerable with each other, if that makes sense, which is a space to say, look, I might have experience with certain things, but I'm a complete amateur with code. And so, because I wanted to learn how to code because I faced an existential crisis at work, namely, thought if I don't learn how to code, am I going to have a job next year? That's what I felt 3 years ago. And so, through that fear driven development, we created a space where we could learn how to code. When I met Stacks through Peace, Love, and everyone here, I was like, oh, your goal is to unlock the $1.4 trillion of Bitcoin value? Well, I know that money can be cash, collateral, capital, and credit. I see the vision. And again, through D grants, through getting funded, we created AIs that would help people learn how to code in Stacks. And through sharing what I was learning with everyone else here, I learned a lot about Stacks. They learned a lot about AI. And it's kind of an iron sharpening iron every morning at 8:30 a.m. with these guys. So they keep me sharp.
Yeah, you're there every day. Can you tell us about the evolution and how it's changed from the early days and to its more polished form now?
I like to call it a semi-professional approach. You know, I think we've all had experiences in corporate where you have to put on the mask and wear it all day. And sometimes playing the part gets in the way of doing the job. And so I think this semi-professional, deorganized is an apt name approach to these things. It allows for a time to be professional, but also a time to question whether the emperor in fact has clothes or not. And I think that's missing from the typical media discourse where they're all just trying to make you feel like the emperor has clothes. And because it's a deorganized approach that allows for productive dissent, because dissent is productive in a true democracy, I think that's where the strength comes from. It's not just a mouthpiece for manufacturer brands.
You guys, that's a really powerful concept. And this idea of being intellectually vulnerable, especially in a space where everyone is kind of learning in public. And I think that can be very challenging for people. You know, like you said, it's there's a lot of pressure to feel like, oh yeah, I know everything. And we do this like in our CVs and in job applications, you know, tell me the highlights of your life. Tell me everything that you know. And it's like feeling like we always have imposter syndrome, right? So I don't know. Let me open it up to anyone else who can talk about this idea of putting yourself out there daily on a show. What are some of the hazards? Are there any like memorable moments, learning experiences you've had? Let me put it out there for everyone.
Like this thing.
Right?
All together.
It's terrifying at first, right? It's terrifying at first, but it actually, once you get used to it, it's very liberating because you're not worried about, you don't have to be perfect. So there's a lot of work that goes into the show and producing the show, and usually a couple hours before we go live. And then there's all the content and there's all the scheduling and the talking to people. There's a lot of work in there. But when we're live, it's natural. It's authentic. It becomes easy. And then the stuff that we produce out of that is true and real. So that's part of it, I think, too. But I'd love to hear what other people have to say on that.
Take it, Jack, and then Mel. Or no, Mel, you go. You got it. You got it.
I just think it's very different to, to everybody's point. It's very different to what we normally see on crypto Twitter. So you've got people who aren't afraid to admit they don't know what some of the terms mean, or how to work a lot of the things. So like P says, it's very authentic. We sit there, we ask questions. If we don't know, we just talk about what we don't know. you know and so I think that's what makes it really cool. It's not serious, it's fun, and mingled in that, you've got some really sharp people who actually know what's going on, but are not being like high level intelligent the whole time, because you don't have to be.
Yeah. You know, Mel
Michael's
will
shaking his head like, I
appreciate
have to be
this.
high level intelligent all the time.
Well, that's
Michael
Sorry,
and
Jack,
I
go
don't.
ahead.
that's because Michael's streaming from America's Hat, so he just has to. but, but in all seriousness, you'll appreciate this, Sean. Mel will appreciate this because we were among like early content creators in the Stacks ecosystem. There were a handful of us, back in the day, and it was during those times where it became very apparent to me that crypto media was lacking, and really the answer to what it was lacking, I might not have been able to fully say it back then, but it's the term's been brought up today. It was lacking authenticity. It
Mm.
was just a crypto skin on everything that comes to people through their phone or TV on any given day. It was just more of the same. And so there needed to be a change. There needs to be a breath of fresh air. Authenticity is valued in this space. It's valued down to the Bitcoin proposition itself. Why is Bitcoin spectacular? It's because there's no falsehood in Bitcoin. Everything is there. There's no hiding the truth on Bitcoin. So authenticity is rare in the space, but it shouldn't be, because this is all new and people have a lot to learn, and not everyone's going to have all the answers in a space where you literally have evolutions of the technology on an almost daily basis.
Yeah.
So having a platform where people can not only come on and talk about what they're building or what they're doing, but where people can just say what they think and say what they feel, it makes it just a much more solid, almost new form of media that really should be quite popular in this age, and even more so as now we have so much AI created media that is
Mm.
becoming, just it's everywhere. It's all over
It's
your
just everything's
timelines,
over edited as
right?
Mhm.
well.
And
It's
so
over
it's
edited. It's got so many what are they called, filters, and
Mhm.
you just see so much fakeness
Yeah.
out there with these big yellow headings, and you know Bitcoin's going to the moon 1 minute, and then the very next day, because that headline didn't work, you know it's a crash coming. So and I think we don't consume people with that talk. you know
and it's what Deorganized demonstrates, and this is very important because this is applicable to everyone in this space. Is Deorganized demonstrates the value of community, and because everyone here is connected to someone else in the ecosystem, and that's what Web3 is really all about. This idea of an internet where people have a stake in it, right? And so we're all connected. We all have our own stake in it, and through our efforts and through our work, we help other people find out who they are in the space and how they contribute, and this grows. And this organic growth is necessary, because at the end of the day, TVL doesn't matter, hype doesn't matter. What matters is, are people using what's being built? That's what matters. And the only way that you're going to get real organic growth is from a community. I don't want to say necessarily directed, but a community oriented approach. And I think that Deorganize really fleshes that idea out and makes it visible for everyone to, conceptualize it.
Amazing. I have so many thoughts in my head about this, especially around like the concept of iteration and growth mindset and making progress rather than focusing on perfection. Because something that's helped me in this process is rather than focusing too much on, what I did wrong, the mistakes I made, how it could have gone better, just always saying like, I'm not doing this to be perfect right now. I'm doing this to get better and to, work toward progress. This is a really unique group because you're like a band and you're like performing every day together. So what I wanted to do at first, I was thinking, why don't we go around and can you tell me like what you bring to the table? But instead, I would like to invite you all to tell something about someone else. What does someone else in the room bring? What's their unique thing? What is if it's an anecdote, if it's a story, or just in general, what is it that that other person brings to the show regularly? So, um, jump in if you guys have any thoughts on on
I'd
each
like
other
to
here. Go
actually
ahead.
say go around. I'd like to go around on everybody. GP brings in an unequaled work ethic and just positivity and always supporting everybody in the ecosystem, not even just the organized. He brings like just a tremendous vibe. Uh, Melanie classes us all up, by the way. Like she absolutely makes us all way more classy, way more legit. She does a tremendous job with her interviews. Her interview style is amazing. And she's like super fun, and she's actually a really great sport too. Like she lets Jack is the legend of Stacks Legends. I can't say enough good things about Jack. Jack knows what's going on. He knows who to talk to. He's definitely ahead of the curve. And Michael brings a level of intelligence and sophistication to what we present on the show and everything. And I'm actually going to shout out Crypto Dude, even though he's not an official The Organized member. He's been on the night show regularly. He is and I've known him since before BoostX with Derupt and the Deruptars and what he's building with Crypto Cash, doing so many awesome things, building in our ecosystem. He is a tremendous value add, both on the tech side of things and just he also represents and reflects the ethos that we're all here for. And that's just a little bit. I mean, I could go on and on about all of these people. Tremendous amount of talent here.
Yeah, I want to go next. Like, so the one thing that makes Deorganized special with all of us involved is that we all have something to bring to the table, and it's authentic. It's not scripted. So it is awesome to just have a genuine conversation of what is intriguing to us from so many different peoples with so many different backgrounds, whether you're a techie like Michael, or you're into knowing like what makes you tick like Mel. It takes all of us to make it special, and I think that's what makes Deorganized work so well. Like, it's a broadcast of so many awesome characters, right? It's like a character, like the characters of a show, and it just happens naturally.
Yeah, we're like friends. You remember
Yeah.
that movie show that where they'd sat on the couch and you'd come in weekly and you'd get to know their relationships and stuff? That's what we're like, and we are friends. And honestly, for me, like when I wake up in the morning, this is something I really look forward to doing. I look forward to having conversations. I look forward to Michael and me going rogue, and Peace trying to rein us in. Um, and yeah, so I think each and every person here brings, Jack with his wisdom, Peace with his ability to just bring us all together, his community, his wonderful way of speaking, Peace with his chill vibes. He's always wishing us all well, making us happy. And Michael with collecting information and sharing it at the most perfect moments. So yeah, it is. It's in Crypto Dude with I don't know him that well, but he looks very cool. But yeah, I love it. I love it so much.
Yeah, I think that, you know, the idea of
This is Crypto Dude doxing, by the way, right now.
Yeah,
Can,
it's
we,
Right.
can we
huge.
point that
I
out? Crypto
know.
Dude is.
Oh, let's point that
to
out.
my
Yeah, let's point
knowledge,
that out
has
some
never
more.
shown himself.
Smart.
you know, I think that the idea of having a better crypto media was compelling, but seeing Peace make it happen is just amazing. And so to be able to actually do it and look like, you know, we always have these conversations where, you know, in private we're like, this is what's right, this is what's wrong, you know, people shouldn't gatekeep, so forth. And that's, you know, like that's who Peace is. Like it's like, no, like come on the show, like come say what you got to say. And it's really, you know, for putting so much effort into something and then being so free with it, and allowing people to have equal access to it is massive, and it's something that the space needs more of. And so I have a huge, you know, amount of respect and gratitude for, you know, towards Peace for making this happen, because this is a
Mm.
a huge level up for everyone in the space. And Giga Pepe is not just super creative, but again, like this is someone that whoever needs something in this ecosystem, he will give more of himself than he has to help someone out. And for no other reason than for his belief in what this space holds for people and the opportunity within the space. And you know, again, like Mel, same thing. Like Mel's been just huge advocate for the arts, even when that's not a fashionable thing to be, because she truly believes that art is not just important as a human, but that art, you know, in this realm, whether it's an NFT or an ordinal, is that we're at this next iteration of what it means to not just collect art and store art, but how art defines us in this new age. And you know, so again, this is like goes back to that authenticity and that mission. And you know, Michael's hilarious, by the way. He's toning it down a little bit to be respectful of Leather, but you know, Michael's hilarious, and he's one of the most educated people that you'll ever run across in the space, and you wouldn't know it
Anyway.
unless you talk to him. And he, you know, so he's always there to provide a a stimulus for additional growth and you know, understanding. And Crypto Dude represents what's best about development in this space, in that as long as there's a guy who knows how to code and he's in a permissionless environment, he can change the world. And we're seeing that play out in real time. And that's again, that reaches to the core of what we're all about here on Bitcoin. Is this: you don't need permission, and everyone should have opportunity, and nobody should have the opportunity to limit anyone else's opportunity. And without guys like Crypto Dude, that don't happen.
I want to
Couple of
say
good.
something nice about you, Longstreet, because we're all
All
saying
right.
something nice about everyone, and you're just sitting there like the dude who never got picked, even though you are the host. So I just want to say that out of everybody here, I've known you, well, and probably Jack, the longest, but we were, you know, became close before I became close with Jack. And yeah, just also an incredible part of our ecosystem, both with promoting it and with, you know, producing art, whether it's music, whether it's your photography, you know, just the same as me, you know, even when it wasn't the thing to do, we were here, you know, promoting it. And now the work that you're doing with Leather, you've got the smoothest voice
Oh,
in
gee.
Stacks when you do your shows. So yeah,
Yeah, for
Just wanted
real,
to.
Longstreet. Like, as much as we love the culture that exists in Stacks, I consider you to be one of the people who have contributed to how amazing the culture is. You know,
Yeah.
there's few people that, you know, you can just look at someone and the work they've done and how they interact with people. And you know, me especially, who I have a tendency, I can get short and I can just, you know, I can fly off the handle. And I look at Longstreet and I'm like, yeah, I need to be more like Sean. You know, like you're
Calm
you're
like Sean.
yeah.
All right. Well, that's
I
our
don't
show,
think
everyone.
Sean.
Thanks for listening in. And I'm just kidding.
Have you ever shouted at anybody, Sean?
Oh, not on air for sure.
Oh.
No, so
Good
I don't, okay.
answer.
I don't know if you are into astrology, but I'm a Scorpio, and so you'll know that Scorpios are like calm on the surface and like wild underneath. So you know, I'm a creative person. You can't be driven to make art if there's
Yeah,
no
true.
turmoil underneath
fire.
driving you to make it. So
Emotion.
All right.
that's
So you
right. That's
gotta
There's
right.
a fire inside, Sean. I like
Does
it.
that make us the frog if you're a Scorpio?
Oof. It's not.
I'm the half
Let's not
man,
cross.
half beast.
Hmm.
I'm the half man, half beast. I love it.
What are you today? Both? More one way or the other?
I'm always both.
You guys notice you
Yes.
have the same colors? Sorry, I couldn't help
Sean and I,
Mm.
yeah.
Hey, they do. Nice.
I autistic laser beamed him.
That happened on your show a couple weeks ago. I was with you and you were trying to sync with me, and I was guessing something
That's
about your
right.
kid's birthday party, and I was not right, but closest to being right.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
I've entered your mind, Sean. Be
yeah,
careful.
it's in sync. Watch out. Well, time is of the essence, so I wanted to, before we do our live giveaway and play Name That Tune, I wanted to throw it to you, Mel, so you can talk a little bit about your show. And one thing that's so amazing, I wanted to just summarize this. It's so evident, like you guys said, it's like an episode of Friends every time. You guys have such a unique click and a way of interacting with each other, and you each have something to bring that the others don't. So it's a really magic combination that you have working together. And then it also benefits all these different side projects that you have. So it's this really beneficial daily thing that you guys have that you know feeds all the other endeavors that you have. And Mel, one thing that you have is the Beyond Bitcoin show. So I wanted to give you a chance to just talk about that newish endeavor, and then specifically you maybe you could share some highlights about your interview with Mark recently.
Yeah. Look, the show came along. I'd spoken actually to Nick at Bitcoin Live last year, before Peace had started Deorganized. And he'd been saying to me, you know, do you want to do a show? I'd paneled something that he had done. So he had been saying, do you want to do a show? And at that point, I wasn't doxxed. And I didn't know how to do a show because I thought, oh, it would be so boring with just like this profile picture and me interviewing people. So then I waited. Then Peace started Deorganized, and I kind of like thought, hey, you know, and I'd been doing a lot of spaces. You know, I've been doing hosting spaces for years.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I'd kind of been thinking about doxing, and yeah, I just saw what these guys were doing, and it just felt like the most natural thing. It was weird. I thought it would feel weird, but it was like I'd become such good friends with everybody in this ecosystem that it just felt like everybody had seen me anyway, you know, even though they hadn't. So on New Year's Eve, I was at a party, shroomed up, and with like glitter all over my eyeballs and a kitty hat thing on, neon colored leggings. It was the 80s party. And I just decided I'm going to do it. I'm absolutely going to do it. And I took my phone and I was like walking around the party, showed everyone where I was, made a big racket, probably looked completely ridiculous. And that was that. I said to Peace, you know what? I'm ready. This show name just came to me. It just flowed beautifully. And I just felt really comfortable doing it. It was time. You know, I wanted to be confident that I could speak about any topic to anybody without looking like an idiot, you know, even though, you know, so I didn't want to read things and ask questions on a piece of paper. So, yeah. And then, yeah, meeting Mark. And up until Mark, I knew everybody that I'd interviewed. So I'd had a personal conversation with them. Mark was the first time it felt like a really professional interview because I'd never met him before. I met him like 2 minutes before we went live on air. We hadn't even had a moment to go like anything. And so I really enjoyed it because it pushed me. And to be honest with you, I think besides my interview with Michael, it's my favorite other one. You know, those are my top two. Because I really felt like I'd pushed myself and I proved to myself that I could actually do this, that I could do an interview with somebody I didn't know, ask questions, really listen, because like I'm bad at that as well. I talk a lot, as you can obviously. I got to stop, Michael. We need a signal, peace. We need a signal, like. So yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I found him to be just a fascinating person. His philosophy, you know, he's all the pieces of a puzzle that make him the great leader that he is. You know, he's everything that he's done in his life makes him the perfect person to be leading us or leather or you know the future of how we manage our money and that sort of stuff. So yeah, it was really great. I was thrilled that he came on the show.
Amazing. Well, yeah, I just want to point everyone, make sure you do subscribe to Beyond Bitcoin and definitely check out the recent episode.
Beyond.
Bitcoin and Beyond. Bitcoin and Beyond.
But you actually got it right, because generally it is Beyond Bitcoin.
It's mostly
sometimes in
beyond.
the show, halfway through the show, I go Bitcoin. This is a show about Bitcoin, because we talk about. I like to get deep inside the person behind Bitcoin.
Nice.
Wen Longstreet.
I'm ready. Let's go. Okay, good. So what do you guys think? You want to hear some music?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's go. So everyone, make sure you've got the live chat ready to go. If you want to play, please make sure that you have shared out the space, that you've got a .btc in your name. And I'm looking at all the people who have already posted in the chat, and there's a lot of .btcs here. So I'm going to play 5 tunes, very familiar melodies. One of them is a little difficult. One of them, I know someone's going to get it, but it's maybe a little bit of a deep cut at this point. Although I know Melanie's going to get it. Okay, so here we go with.
Where do I write?
Hmm?
Where do I write if I want to know, if I want to say the answer?
Okay, so if you all go to the Leather X handle, so
okay.
X Leather BTC, you'll see our live stream there. Open that up, and that chat will be on the right.
Yeah, and the
got it.
broadcast chat, basically.
I
That's
just
right.
loaded up Shazam so I can try to cheat.
If only Shazam worked where you could like sing a melody in or play it on the piano. It's like, what's that sound?
Have you ever
Have you
tried
been in that? It
I
doesn't
tried
work.
that and it worked. Oh yeah. it didn't work.
Really? Oh
Yeah.
yeah. I haven't got it to work for me, but maybe it's updated. Okay, I
Could
see
be.
some folks ready.
Oh no, my thing isn't working.
All right. Well, we've
Oh,
got
wait.
5 chances. So
You got 2 seconds.
Doesn't work. Okay. Anyway.
Very nice.
all right. So who was first on the draw there? GP.
Yeah, I
You're
was gonna
a
say
very
GP.
talented musician, sir.
No
Hey,
kidding.
Flexing the
Jesus.
skills there.
I didn't
Appreciate
see,
that.
No, I was
Easy.
me.
Wow.
I was first.
Okay, but
I see GPSC in there first.
what
Well-
was the first note? Do you guys have perfect pitch?
You
My
do?
guess is E.
I do have perfect pitch.
Ooh, Michael, tell us about your music background here.
I play the
I
steel
see
pan.
this.
So the steel pan is arranged in the Pythagorean circle of fifths. And so the way we teach music theory is not through the Roman numeral linear system, but through the geometric internal consistency of the circle of fifths. ECG is how that starts. I'll stop there.
All right, Mel, I'm going to go back and listen to that episode. Michael, that was legit. Okay, so unfortunately, our guests have a very unfair advantage, and that there's a little bit of a delay in the feed. So we may have to set some rules.
I'm abstaining. That that was the sound of my childhood right there. So
Right.
Had to throw that in there as a first cut.
Doing a
I
speed
don't
run.
find it.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to have our very knowledgeable guests sit these ones out. And here comes tune number 2. Let's go.
Dude, Sean, Jesus.
Who's first?
Dude, that's amazing.
No
Oh,
kidding, right, dude? Your
It's-
skills are incredible.
Well,
Even the
it's
sound
my
effect.
AI. You know, I trained an AI to play
Ah,
guitar.
No, okay, Trey.
Can't
I've been
trust
talking
anyone.
with Michael.
Can't trust anyone these days, huh?
Yeah.
Trip says he heard his mom yell off, turn on the Nintendo, clean your room when he heard Mario.
Have flashbacks of getting in trouble.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, peace, love. I think you were the first one to post, but LMNO.
Yes.
I think we're gonna throw that one to you. I have to make notes here.
LMNO's right. No, give it to LMNO.
Sad.
I don't expect to win anything, and if I do win anything, I'm gonna give it away anyway. So definitely LMNO.
Oh, that's great.
Give it to the homie.
At when I was on your show a couple weeks ago, you were playing the map-based game,
Fine to earn.
Fine to Earn. Yeah.
Fine to earn.
And I won
from
one.
Zenitron's Fine to Earn. Yeah.
Yeah, which is another thing worth shouting out too, because you guys
Yeah,
do
that's
that
right, you
game all the
won.
time. Yeah, I won, but I donated my winnings to the moon. I sent it to the rover that's sitting up there on the
Oh,
moon.
very nice.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
It's
very
so
nice.
cool that exists. And for anyone who missed the
sent some-
episode, peace.
I was gonna say I sent some fresh dry sock up there myself.
Not wet
Fresh
sock.
dry sock token.
Dry sock.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Not
I
moon
should have
sock,
sent
no,
all
those
my
are gross.
freaking funds there.
Oh,
oh man, that's awful.
you want to unpack that
Yes,
right
maybe
now?
when I moved to the moon, I could open it up and have some bucks.
Oh,
I heard
Yeah.
our
I
open
can't wait
source
to go
isn't
to the
open
moon.
trauma. Yeah.
Mm. I'm not going to talk about it.
yeah.
I still can't see where you're all posting, guys. I'm just not going to post. I'll just sit here and enjoy. I'm
All
being
right.
stupid.
Okay. Tune number 3.
That's Blackberry. Very nice.
Come on, chat. Someone give us the answer in the chat.
Man, Longstreet makes me want to pick up my guitar and
Very
smash
nice,
all
very
my
nice.
guitars with it.
Honestly, if that's oh, I thought you were gonna say pick it up and play.
No, no, no.
W-
Next
you know
time-
what?
Just pick it up and
Next time
break
we
it.
start- Next time we start the show with the guitar. That's what I vote for.
All right, there it is.
Yeah,
If-
you make me want to pick up my keys again, dude. Like that's where I thought he was going to.
We have a band right
Yeah.
here. This is making the band.
Let's make a band.
Yeah, I've got a piano right next to me.
Let's go.
think we've all got the creative forces to take over the
I
world.
play the guitar. The only thing I don't know is how the latency might work in a situation like this. But I wonder if we could do a jam session on a live stream.
We need a
Oh,
drummer.
it's brutal to
Be
try and
interesting.
do because the synchronization, everybody has different connection times, so the synchronization is really hard.
With a
But
beats
you know
per
what? I
minute.
had an idea once
Mhm.
to make an
Yeah,
album
I'm
of
not sure
the
how it'll
worst
work.
music ever.
Well, with a consistent beats per
And we
minute,
could do it that.
with a
Mm.
consistent beats per minute and a consistent chord progression, we can record tracks asynchronously and then just load them into FL Studio and bang, there's your song.
All right, D Grants round number 3. Here we go. The
Mhm.
D Grants band.
Wait,
Let's
FL
go.
Studio will actually sync unsynced up tracks.
Well, as long as you have, again, the same chord progression over 16 bars and a consistent beats per minute, I just need to have everyone record to that same click track and just assemble.
That'd be really
Ye-
fun because you could
Yeah.
have like a fresh prompt every week or every show or whatever it is, like
Yes.
create a sample around
Kind of
this,
like
you know.
jamming.
The prompt would be the backing track that is shared with everyone.
Nice. That's actually a good idea.
And that's the thing. We each week we each just play to the backing track, a
You got
solo.
it. That's it.
So each week somebody's got to prepare something, put it as a solo, and then we remix it right at the end into it, or mix it right at the end into a track.
That's a
We have a
great idea.
community of producers that create their own unique
It's crazy the
mix.
technology we have these days,
Mhm.
isn't it?
You could do this
Yeah.
in real time. Yep.
The band, I believe, the band was the first entity that actually did multi-track recording where they weren't all together, and they would send each other ADAT tapes and record, and then mail it to the other guy, and with SMPTE and everything, they could line it all up. But we've come a long way since then. But
Yeah.
it's
A lot of
it's
artists
really
record that
I
way
love
now.
music. I play music all the time, and I'm just I've never introduced it to the show because we have so much other stuff to cover. But I would love to be able to get us, if we could somehow actually play live together,
can.
that would be great.
Yeah, musicians have more gray matter density than people who don't play music. So there's a reason that musicians all come together, especially in tech. It's kind of like the open secret in tech that a lot of the talented people do have a musical background because of the gray matter density that you get from learning an instrument.
And
And now we're
music is
moving
math.
in.
Music
Music is
math
everything.
and
Yeah.
language. Never mind.
Well, I'll just riff on that for the music advocacy part because obviously I've been, for anyone who doesn't know, my background is that of a music educator, composer, and jazz guitarist primarily. So yeah, if I'm going to get on my soapbox about music education, it's just for the intrinsic joy and benefits of it. But yes, when you are learning an instrument, it's physical. With most instruments, there's a group element for it, right? So you have to make the right sounds at the right time and blend with everyone around you. And that spatial awareness and aural awareness is like next level, like brain engagement. And to your point, Michael, I've met so many people as I've been transitioning from education to Bitcoin, this whole Web3 and Bitcoin space, who have either like formal music education, music backgrounds, or I'm still in a band, I still play an instrument, with some legitimate music skills. And Mozart, not Mozart, but Albert Einstein, they found when they did a brain autopsy on him, they found that is it the corpus callosum, the part that connects both sides? It was just like insanely connected. So it was, what was so unique about him was his ability to come up with novel ideas, and it was the cross brain connections that really enabled that. And that's what music does. It's connecting all parts of the brain.
I wonder how many people who are involved very much in music get dementia. You know what I mean? Because like it's a real problem. Like I find like you know,
Well, I
it's a
can
topic
tell
that
you
we've got.
this. As someone,
See how we
my
derail,
background is my
Longstreet.
background is healthcare,
I'm here for it.
and
It's
and
so
so in healthcare, the population I've mostly worked with are the sickest people, and often you're elderly, you're obviously going to be most sickest, so you have a lot of dementia, and Alzheimer's patients, and almost to a T, they remember music, whether it was their favorite music or what have you, almost down
Wow.
to a single individual. You could have someone who was completely you can't orient them, and they're just having the worst day of their lives because they're just frightened, they don't know what's going on, and you
Mm.
find out from their spouse, oh, they liked Motown, for instance, or whatever, and you go put Motown on for them, and it leveled them. People, that's there's something there for sure.
Isn't that incredible?
Truly. Yeah, and it in these cases, Jack, I've seen these patients who, when they do hear a song, it's like it unlocks a part of their lives, and they're able to talk about the memories and even like improve their speech because of because of the power of music and that memory.
Mm.
We
Mm.
all have a soundtrack to our lifespan. We
Mm.
just don't realize it at the time, but it's the music that encodes those key moments in our life. And you
Mm.
see
Mm.
that with a patient who can play music with one hand on a piano, but maybe
Mm.
can't operate linguistically anymore. So it points
Mm.
to these parts in the brain that just because we lose our language functioning does not mean we've lost all functioning. And sometimes
Yeah.
it maybe operates like a daredevil type of effect musically.
And you see
Hmm.
now this has just turned into an episode of Deorganized.
I apologize.
That's what I
My
said to
mistake.
Longstreet. We just
Yeah.
derail. It all derails, and
But we're talking about music, which is the most important part of this conversation, isn't it, Longstreet? Come on. When
Yeah.
Let's
everything
go.
is said and done, and we
and it's
can't
my
produce any
greatest
more,
passion.
when we can't produce any more satoshis because of quantum blah blah blah, we'll be playing guitar, won't we?
Well, I hope so. I
True.
mean, that's the big question, is like, as
Hopefully.
AI takes over so many parts of, every job, every process, even the creative process, at what point do you say there's more benefit to me creating this myself than outsourcing it to an AI because of the intrinsic benefits of the creative act? AI will help us enable ourselves to have more time to be creative because we are creative people. That's
Mm.
what we are
Just
at the
because a
core.
computer can do
I
it doesn't mean we shouldn't.
Right. Well,
Right.
it's just like the ancient Greeks, an oral tradition. Even back then they were like, oh, if we write too much stuff down, it's gonna make people stupid, right? And so now we're to the place where we're habitually outsourcing our thinking to AI, and we haven't seen the peak of that yet. So no, people
Mm.
should absolutely do whatever they can to avoid falling into that trap, whether it's creating music, whether it's reading, whether it's writing, where all of these
Mm.
things that make us fundamentally human, we have to not just embrace, but we have to just really lean into in this
It's
coming
actually more important now because AI is going to have the effect where it atrophies our cognitive thinking toolkit. That's what happens. We saw that with GPS, where we lost the ability to propriospatially tell directions when GPS came out. So we should expect the same thing when we outsource our thinking to LLMs, small or large context, that there's the clear and present danger of atrophying those muscles that don't get used.
I think
I
it's
would say
also,
though,
like
as a
everything.
go ahead, Mel.
So, no, just a quick thing. I was just going to say, like everything, it all comes down to education. And I think when it comes to um, AI, it's really understanding what to use it for and how to use it, and not to let it take over your thought process. So, for me, yesterday, as an example, I had the sudden urge to learn about the Big Bang and, really just structure my thoughts around it. So for me, not to have to go, traditionally, I would go now, or I'd used to get a book back in the day in 1944. Otherwise, now I get, I would go online and then I don't know what information to choose because Google's just so like, you know, now I can go onto a couple of different chat GPTs and then take it all together out, give me the TLDR. And within half an hour, I have had a course in the Big Bang and I know now I can speak about it. So, or go and research it more, feel more comfortable doing that. So I think that's where it is super helpful. You know, I use it all day just to get information, and then I use that information to then output my own thoughts.
So, and I think it actually is a force multiplier, right? So you're able to
Yeah.
pull in more information in a cognitive way. So you're actually, I think, doing more thinking, not less. You're offloading some of the tedious parts of it, but you're actually getting. I think I'm handling more information now than I ever had to on a daily basis, and AI makes that possible.
Yeah. It's
But
quite
I don't
scary.
think I'm doing less thinking. I think I'm actually doing more thinking, and it's the same thing
I
with.
agree.
So the example of the drum machine, we've had drum machines for a long time, and they've gotten more and more sophisticated. But there's still drummers, and there's always going to be
Yeah,
percussionists.
you still
and
need a live
drummers,
drummer.
or
Yeah.
a pan
Yeah.
player.
I think AI opens up your time for more creative thinking rather than, tedious, number crunching.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way I look at it.
Our
I
thinking
spend more
is
time
going to
pacing.
advance.
Pacing,
Right. But
Sorry,
the
Mike.
Yeah, I
the
spend
other
more time
part of it
pacing.
is that's
thinking. You're
direct
pacing when you're
opposite to
paid. That's what I do. My wife calls it doing laps. Like I have to step away from my computer to think about stuff, or I do it like habitually. I don't even realize it, and I just start walking around the house and I'm thinking
Rock,
that's-
Rocky,
thoughts through.
go ahead,
That's
Jack. Please.
good, but that's the polar opposite of just being like, "Hey, GPT, what should I think about this?" Right, and that's what
Mm.
I'm more concerned about for people.
I
You
find
know,
I have to teach the chat GPT a lot more for it to be productive anyway. Like I have to train it. I have to give it information
Yeah, you
before I
feed
can
it
rely
a
on
lot of
anything that it gives
info.
back to me.
Yeah.
No,
Context matters massively.
completely deorganized the show. What have you guys done?
This is the deorganized takeover.
This is
Um,
exactly, we're on deorganized now. Welcome.
Let me-
Sean.
What are we
Thanks
supposed to be talking
thanks for
about,
joining us
Longstreet?
today.
Well, we'll get there. I do want to make one more point.
I want to say that I sent LMNO is winning some. So
Awesome.
Gotcha.
I also want to shout out.
everybody.
Yeah, great. Thank you. I also want to shout out some other people in the chat. So Dev Queen came in with a Beatles too. I'm not sure if she was first, but I think she definitely deserves some. And also, thanks everyone for jumping in the chat here. Trip and Monkey, you're present as always and appreciated. Before we do the next song, I wanted to make one more point on AI and music, and that is one of the most important states of human mind is flow state. And it's so hard to get into flow state when we have all these push notifications happening all the time. And that is one of the great hacks about the creative process, whether it's drawing, getting out your arts and turning off the notifications, picking up a guitar, just putting yourself in a situation where you are present with limited distractions and you find that flow state. That's the optimal place right there. So, but we have to be so intentional about it. You have to be intentional. You have to plan for it and say like, how much flow state time have I had today?
Have you seen the Flow Genome Matrix from, I think, Kotler and Wheeler? If you Google Flow Genome Matrix, he shows you the 4 steps: struggle, release, flow, and there's like another step, and he shows you the actual brainwave patterns and the neurotransmitters. Flow Genome Matrix. Google that. You'll love it.
Nice. Okay, well, I'm going to keep things moving forward. I have 2 more tunes, and Crypto Dude, I want to give you a chance to, if you can, share a screen so that you can really demo BoostX, what you've built, and how people can use it to send sats through X. So here we go with tune number 4. This is a tough one. It's a deep cut.
I know the song, but I don't know that. It's not coming to me.
Yep.
I
That's a
put
tricky
guess.
one. It is. I'll start giving you some hints. If you can name, I think the name of the composer and the musician is easier to know than the name of the song. So it's jazz,
Is
and
last name R?
it's a very familiar name. Very familiar. Like when you think jazz, who are the top 5 artists that you would say like, oh, that's jazz?
Last name R?
The primary instrument that you hear the melody on in the original is the trumpet.
I don't want to
Is it
say it,
Louis
but I put it in the
Armstrong?
chat.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Louis Armstrong is a good guess, and it is Miles Davis. Nice job, Peace
Oh
Love.
wow, Miles
Yeah.
Davis.
I thought it was Sonny Rollins. Is it Henry Rollins? Sonny Rollins?
Sonny Rollins, saxophone
Henry
player.
Rollins.
Henry Rollins,
Dude.
Black Flag. You know?
Homer
Let's
Rollins?
go.
Same.
Yeah.
Jack Rollins?
Who's gonna do the mashup of Black Flag and Sonny Rollins Under the Bridge? That's what I want to know.
Oh, dude, that'd be sick.
Fun story.
Get
I'm
the
gonna.
AI to do it, and we don't have to think about it anymore.
That's true.
So,
I
you
am
know,
going to derail real quick just to share a Sonny Rollins. So he's got this album called The Bridge, and basically he just removed himself from society and he would practice under a bridge all the time. And he stopped gigging. All he did was he practiced. And after he was done with his like disappearing from society, he came in and just started like blowing everyone's minds because he had developed this new style. So there's really something to be said
Wow.
about kind of going deep and withdrawing from society for a while to develop something, unique. So Sonny Rollins. Okay, that was a tough one. That was the hardest one, but I've got one more tune for us to play, and then we can have our demonstration from Crypto Dude. All right, here's tune number 5. Let's not give it away. Let's give the chat a chance to answer here.
Fine.
All right.
I already know it. It's Angus Young.
I don't see it in the chat yet.
Oh man, that's a classic.
Oh, there we go. DeFi Dictator, AC/DC, Back
There
in
we
Black.
go.
DeFi Dictator, that's
You
great.
got it.
Crypto Dude, can we throw it to you for a demo and send 5,000 sats to DeFiDictator.btc?
Let's go.
Yeah, give me 1 second to
Wow.
try and figure out how to use this share screen on this first time using Riverside here. So hold on.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Share Zoom.
Peace, love. I know you were holding your tongue on that one.
Yeah, I grew.
Thanks for holding back.
I'm born in '77. I was AC/DC was like middle school was like that was
Mhm.
like one of my favorite bands at that age, young age. Good stuff. It still rocks, Very simple, very bluesy and rock, but very interesting stuff, as far as the vibe goes.
Yep, it holds up. All right, I see your screen.
All right, give me one
Let's send some
second here.
sats.
Give me 1 sec here. Can you actually see it? Okay. I'm also on a Mac here. I usually am on Windows, so bear with me here. I'm
Nice.
noobing it up over here.
What a
So-
sellout.
In public.
I know. right?
Spell out. Wow.
So DeFi Dictator, let's give him. You think Stacks is growing into the strongest layer 2 on Bitcoin? So this looks like a good one to boost. Since we can't really boost directly in the chat, and obviously this is a CSS issue, so disregard that.
Uh-huh.
So we're gonna send him some SBTC though, right? 5,000 sats. Oops. So basically, I just went to his profile page, found one of his tweets. Since he's got his BNS name equipped on his X display name, he's able to basically receive boosts because we're able to translate the principal address out of his name, kind of all via BoostX for him. So we'll hit transfer. I don't think you're going to see this screen because maybe you are. I don't know.
No, pop-up's not there.
Not
Still on
showing the
X.
sign screen, but it does show
All
the
right.
copy
That's
tweet
cool. Huh?
screen.
Yeah, that's cool.
And so basically, I just boosted him. I mean, I probably should have shared the whole screen. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Would have
That's
been
what-
easier to see the leather wallet window pop up there. We can do it on the next one though, I guess.
Nice.
So there you go. DeFi Dictator got 5,000 sats inbound,
Nice.
sir.
That's it.
And there's a
So
tweet about
cool.
it.
And because this is SBTC, we're not waiting 10 minutes. We're not waiting 30 minutes. DeFi Dictator's getting his Bitcoin now.
Yeah, we
That
can check out
is-
the.
We're just
transaction.
innovation on top of innovation.
He's already got it. He's already.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Jack.
BTC is better BTC.
Well said. Yeah, I Jack, thanks for going there because that's another thing that I wanted to point out that 6 months ago this wasn't possible. You couldn't send Bitcoin in 10 seconds.
No.
This innovation is insane. The stack
Crazy.
space. So maybe we can quickly talk about the amazing event yesterday. Stacks is winning, but it was a really great, succinct demonstration in all of the innovations happening right now, and Stacks is ready to go. I mean, the things that we can do with DeFi and making your Bitcoin productive, it really is just next level.
Oh,
So,
man.
dude, can you show the Hyro Explorer on that transaction for the folks at home?
Yeah, sorry. Let me share this tab.
Because that's the final
Great.
picture of what just happened in real
Yeah,
time.
so yeah. So if I was sharing the whole screen, they would have seen that a little more promptly. But basically, after I hit send, took a matter of seconds, and then it's confirmed on the blockchain, on the Stacks blockchain, which is obviously evident here by viewing the transaction on the Explorer. So we can see that he was a Leather Lounge. Name that tune winner.
Can you zoom in on that for the tech folks at home? Because that's really the crux. If you can zoom in there.
Sure. So here we can see the message that I included. It's even got the encoded tweet ID for people to be able to find what tweet basically was boosted. And the context of what can be transferred when boosting is not just SBTC. So if people wanted to send stacks or USDH or an NFT, they can do that as well. It's pretty
Buy
cool
a
for
home in New
supporting.
England, right?
Maybe one day.
Soon, TM.
Yeah, soon trademark.
If you had prior to this show, the Stacks DeFi space was on X, and basically the TLDR is we're watching the evolution of DeFi happening on Stacks right now. Because of things like Hermetica and things like Zest and Stacking DAO, and so you have this Stacks built on Bitcoin, leveraging Bitcoin, DeFi built on this SBTC that is already leveraging Bitcoin, and now you're here with BoostX seeing a SocialFi component using, this is all just so ahead of where most other chains are. Like everyone kind of lost it yesterday when CZ was talking about AI is going to use crypto for money. Publius was talking about this 2 years ago before he started on AI
Right.
BTC dev.
Right.
Like people don't realize just how ahead of the curve we are in this ecosystem. Nobody's doing these things yet. And this is how you win. You win by paying attention and learning about these things going on right now and capitalizing on that, because this is all next level stuff that eventually is going to be taken for granted because everyone's going to do it. But by then we'll have continued to build out even more innovation, because we're building on the best foundation, which is Bitcoin.
And I think a lot of that comes from like the ethos behind Manib, and he went through what he went through to he had a vision, and that was to make Bitcoin scalable, to tap into this $1 trillion whatever. And I think that all kind of like, because whatever happens at the top leads down to what's going in the bottom, and so you've got these people who've been here on Stacks working and building for a long time, where L2s weren't popular, before ordinals. It wasn't exactly like we were working in a hugely popular environment. In fact, on Twitter, there was oftentimes very, horrible things said about Stacks. And yet the people here just kept building,
Mhm.
and it's not a pump and dump. It's not like anybody was making like huge amounts of money. People were here. If you think of us, Longstreet, being here for the last 4 or 5 years, Jack as well, we've kind of hung out through terrible bear markets. And so have these people that are building these incredible things. And so they come with wanting to make Bitcoin better, not here to just like throw out. And that's why even if you look at our meme coin communities, they're not like regular meme coin communities at all. You know, it's quite extraordinary, I think.
Yeah,
So a very
I've been
beautiful ecosystem.
I've been hammering on Stack since one name days before Blockstack was even Blockstack, which Blockstack turned into Stacks eventually. So, there's most definitely a lot of us builders here that kind of hide behind the scenes and don't really get a lot real vocal in terms of marketing because we're a little bit shy in that regard, and we just focus on the tech side of things. But yeah, like there's a ton of technology that has been developed over the years that is
Yeah.
very in sync and aligned with itself and the broader Bitcoin ethos. So, there we have a lot going in Stacks right now. It's like
Yeah.
I look at it like the hard work has kind of already been done at this point. It's now just about leveraging that hard work, basically.
And I have to commend you, Crypto Dude, because like you've been building in the open, you've been trying to get yourself out there more. Like you've been coming on the night show regularly, and now, you're like showing your face and getting yourself out there to another level now. So it's awesome that you're building in the open with us, and then building for the users, right? For the base community members of Stacks. So like I definitely have to commend you. It's like it's not easy whenever you have something really important that you're having to build, and then you don't know how to like communicate like how good it is, how or what you're even doing, right? So I have to commend you. Like you have definitely got yourself out there, bro. Keep going.
Right on, thanks, man. Yeah, it's most definitely outside my normal wheelhouse. I prefer to be the nerd just hammering on the keyboard, but I also know that that's not going to get the word out. So I'm trying to get uncomfortable, as it were.
Just
Solid,
come on
dude.
my show. Let's do a show. Because now that you've doxed yourself, I've wanted to have you on a show. But again, going back to it's hard to talk to a PFP.
Yeah, yeah. I've been getting slowly more comfortable with that. It's just like one of those things, I guess the tinfoil hat's still underneath this beanie somewhere,
That's what the lounge does to people. I know, Mel, the first time that you accidentally referred to yourself as Mel was, I think, on the lounge in like December or maybe even November. And you said, "Oh, oops, I just said my name." That was the
Yeah.
beginning. It's a slippery slope.
Yeah, that's the thing. It was between these two gentlemen here, Longstreet and Peace. You were my debut and my debut.
Mm-hmm. Thank you guys. Well, we are like so far over time, but I can see why you guys need a daily show because it's so easy for you guys to riff on each other. So we really just got like another minute. GP, we really haven't had a ton of time to hear from you. Let me start with you if you want to share any closing remarks. And then Crypto Dude, we're still looking at your shared screen here.
Yeah.
You can click that unshare button. Thank you. GP, yeah, let me throw it to you for some final words here.
My bad.
Yeah,
It's
I
all
think
good.
that what we're doing in this ecosystem is amazing. Like we are making Bitcoin more programmable in a decentralized, trustless way, and I think that we need to continue to keep that ethos going, right? While bringing Bitcoin to a broader audience, and I think this is the way to do it. And Stacks does community right, and I think that if we continue to build in the open, and then not gatekeep and let everybody be heard, then we are doing justice by this ecosystem. That's why I think what we're doing with Deorganized is very important. So like I adore all of you, and like I really am proud to be part of everything that I've got going on, you know, with the Zest community, with the Stacking DAO community, being a leather ambassador. All of these things mean the world to me. Like that I feel seen, that the work that I'm doing, I can continue doing what I have been doing, and that I may just inspire somebody else to try.
Well, I think this is going to have to be a regular event, the D Grants takeover, because love the energy that you all bring. Peace, love. We started with you. We're going to end with you. Any closing remarks here?
Thank you so much, Sean, for having us. We are obviously, we all are huge supporters of Leather, Trust Machines, and everything you guys are doing for Stacks as well. Thank you to all of our friends, our Deorganized partners, Melanie, GP, Jack, Blockface. Shout out to Hattie, Hero Gamer, bunch of other people. Binta, 300, Reese has been a huge supporter. Crypto Dude, thank you so much for all you've been doing for us. Thank you for having us. Really great vibe here as always. You definitely have that. You keep everything very peaceful and calm, which is very nice for me. I appreciate that kind of a show, you know, because there's a lot going on in our world that is not peaceful and calm. So it's nice to have that kind of platform here. Yeah, just thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for support all of our viewers that support Deorganized, the Stacks ecosystem, our tremendous partners, all of the meme coin projects that support Find to Earn, Zenitron with what he's done. I could just go on and on, so I'll just stop myself now, because if I don't, I'll keep going. Have Learn TA with Landy coming up in about half an hour, so we'll be streaming another show in 30 minutes. Tune in for that if you're interested in learning more about reading charts. And we will definitely look forward to coming back on Leather Lounge again soon. And also, you're always welcome on Deorganized anytime you guys want to come out and hang out with us. You're more than welcome.
Awesome. I love the open invitation. I'll take you up on it. Well, let me also make sure that if anyone listening has not done so already, go to deorganized.media. Is that the main address?
Deorganized.media, or even just deorganized.com will get you there.
Nice.
There will probably be downline. There'll be a suite of apps and or websites, I believe. So it'll be more than just. We're probably going to start calling it Deorganized, and then .media, .games, .redacted. We'll see where it goes.
Ooh.
Awesome. Nice. Well, Michael, Mel, GP, Jack, Crypto Dude, peace, love. Everyone in the audience. I'm looking at you, DeFi Dictator, and Trippin' Monkey, Elemento. Thanks, guys, for listening in as you do every week. We are really trying to get some more followers and some reviews. So if you're listening on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, do us a big favor and subscribe, leave us a review. That way we can get more listeners here. So there is every minute of the day seems to be filled up with something on Deorganized Media. So definitely go find your favorite shows. Check in with these guys every day because there's always a great conversation. And I'm grateful that you all joined us here today. Check out Good for Bitcoin this Friday, 2 p.m. Eastern. And we'll be back next Tuesday for a very special Earth Day episode with a company called Carbon Country, which is helping to make to bring solar panels to farmland, to make Bitcoin mining, to enable Bitcoin mining to be more, green and more sustainable. So I'm really excited about the show that we've got next week. So that's next Tuesday, 11 a.m. Eastern, as always. Thanks again for joining, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Thank you.
Thanks again for joining us in the Leather Lounge. We record each episode live every Tuesday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And if you'd like to listen in or join us on stage, make sure to give us a follow on X at LeatherBTC. Leather is your gateway to everything Bitcoin, from DeFi to stacks, ordinals, runes, stamps, NFTs, and more. You can find loads of helpful crypto content on our YouTube channel and visit our blog and learn center at leather.io.